Hi, and welcome to another live session here directly from Belém at COP30 from the We Don't Have Time Pavilion. I am here with Professor Dr. Carlos Nobre, a renowned Brazilian scientist, pioneer in Amazon research, co-chair of the Science Panel for the Amazon, and the first Brazilian member of the Planetary Guardians. Welcome, Dr. Nobre. And my first question to you is that you're here with the Planetary Science Pavilion, which is a place where science meets policy. And can you tell us why is it so important that these two fields get together, especially here in COP30?
Yes, João. The COP30 president, André Corrêa do Lago, asked Planetary Guardians to create for the first time in third COPs a Planetary Science Pavilion. And his request was, please bring the top science in the world to COP30 because we want the science to influence negotiators to combat the climate emergency, to find the right policies in all sectors, reducing emissions, particularly fossil fuel emissions, protecting all forests of the planet, especially the tropical forests. So that's what we are doing. We have, for all last week and today, many sessions with top scientists, and also some negotiators are attending, the private sector, social sector, NGOs. So basically we are bringing top science to implement for the negotiators to know the risks that we have with the climate emergency.
All right, and I heard that yesterday the scientists got together and agreed that they would be important to issue a statement today, which is Biodiversity Day here at COP, as a call to action. And the title of this statement is COP30 must protect the stability of Earth's two richest biomes, the Amazon rainforest and the tropical coral reefs. Can you tell us a bit more about the relevance of issuing this statement today?
Yes, we produced this document here, and we deliver this document to many important leaders here. And basically, as examples, we picked, as you mentioned, two, the richest ecosystems in the world, coral reefs and the Amazon forest. And we produced this document to say how close these two very rich ecosystems, the highest biodiversity on the planet, ocean and the land, how close these two ecosystems are of a tipping point. For instance, the Amazon had a record-breaking drought in the last 2 years. We had a record-breaking also forest fires. We had more than 140,000 forest fires. They degraded something like 16 million hectares. A tremendous air pollution that brought a lot of risks to the populations. So really, we have to find solutions. This is the Amazon forest. The Amazon forest is very, very close to the tipping point. And also, of course, in this document, we discuss the coral reefs. Coral reefs are very close to the tipping point. The ocean, tropical ocean temperature reached a record break in the last 3-4 years. We have between 30 and 50% of all coral reefs under tremendous risk. More than 30% bleached, are very close to death. So really, those are two good examples. We have more than 20 tipping points, but those are two good examples, the Biodiversity Day, really to convince the negotiators that we cannot move in that direction. We have to find urgently nature-based solutions to save the planet.
All right, and when you talked about the tipping points, right, what is bringing the coral reefs, let's start with the coral reefs, what's bringing the coral reefs so close to this tipping point? What's happening to them that makes it really worrisome and that allows the scientists to say and issue a stern warning here at COP30?
Yeah, coral reefs maintain up to 30% of ocean biodiversity. So what's going on? Two things. First, warming. Tropical oceans, for many years now, they reach sometimes more than 1.5 degrees, particularly in the last 2 years. And also, the carbon dioxide in the oceans are bringing to a tremendous increase in acidification. We have 9 planetary boundaries. And this year, during New York Climate Week, the planetary guardians announced the 7th planetary boundary was exceeded, acidification of the oceans. So warming of the tropical oceans, acidification, that leads to the extinction of coral reefs. We see the bleaching, they are becoming very white. So those are things that happen. Even science 5 years ago did not predict the oceans would warm so fast. And of course, oceans remove a lot of carbon dioxide, and that brings to acidification, also induced by this warming of the oceans. So yes, I mean, the coral reefs are at very close. When we look at more than 20 tipping points, if the global temperature exceeds 1.5 degrees, we are going to extinct most of coral reefs.
And what is causing the oceans to get so warm and so acidic?
Well, acidity is because of removing carbon dioxide and warming. And, you know, thousands of scientists are trying to explain why the ocean is becoming so warm. But that has to do with the global warming having reached, you know, as we know, second half of 2023, 24, beginning of 25, now also 25, we are close to 1.5 degrees. No, October, the temperature is again 1.55. So when the global temperature increases globally, that's inducing the oceans to also to remove a lot of heat, and that increasing the ocean temperature.
Okay, and what about the Amazon? What are the risks and the causes of these risks to the Amazon, and how close are we to getting there? Is it something that worries you about a lot?
Oh yes, because in fact, I mean, I've been doing work in the Amazon for 43 years, and I was the first scientist. Published 2 articles, 1990 and 1991, Science and Journal of Climate, saying if we increase a lot of deforestation, we are going to reach a tipping point we call, quote unquote, savannization. The Amazon forest, the largest tropical forest, would self-degrade into an open canopy, highly degraded ecosystem. We call, looks like tropical savanna, but it would not be as rich in biodiversity as the tropical savanna south of the Amazon, and it would lose a lot of carbon. And then for 26 years, we started an experiment in the Amazon, the largest scale biosphere atmosphere experiment in the Amazon, LBA experiment. We brought hundreds of scientists, all Amazonian countries, US, 6 European countries. And for 26 years, we are doing work, measuring everything in the Amazon. And these studies, unfortunately, they show the Amazon is very close to tipping point. All southern Amazon from the Atlantic to Bolivia, 2.5 million square kilometers. The dry season has become 4 to 5 weeks lengthier, 1 week per decade. It was 3 to 4 months with rain in the dry season. Now it's 4 to 5 months and 20-30% drier, 2-3 degrees warmer. And southeastern Amazon, the forest has become a carbon source. Since 2010, we did a study showing the forest has become a carbon source. In 1990s, the Amazon forest removed more than 1.5 billion tons of carbon dioxide. Now, it's removing much less, and this area is at the edge of a tipping point. If we continue with deforestation, our studies show exceeding 20 up to 25% deforestation. And global warming, more than 1.52 degrees, we are going to lose 70% of the Amazon within 30 years.
And how close are we to reaching those scary targets of above 1.5 and 20% deforestation?
Yeah, we are very close. We are at about 17, 18% of deforestation, and also about 30% of the Amazon forest, several stages of degradation. And again, I mean, if we continue with deforestation, in 20 years, we will reach more than 20, close to 25%. And also, if we, as you know, science is showing no more way to get 1.5. We have to work like crazy to get 1.7. But if we fail, we're going to get 2 degrees before 2050. So if we continue with deforestation and does not reduce emissions, particularly fossil fuels, very rapidly by net zero by 2040, we are going to reach the tipping point of the Amazon by 2040, 2045. So there's a tremendous risk.
And let's say we get there, right? And the Amazon enters this tipping point. If we stop cutting trees at that point, and if we stop, I don't know, the causes of global warming at that point, does it come back, or a tipping point is a one-way road?
No. If we reach the tipping point, then it's a self-degradation within 30 years, because there is no way. Even if we reach the tipping point and still get zero deforestation and the temperature does not exceed much more than 2 degrees, then self-degradation, which, as I said, over southeastern Amazon, it's already happening. The forest has become a carbon source, lengthier dry season, hotter, tremendous tree mortality, losing biodiversity. So it will be like, coral reefs as well. As soon as you reach a tipping point, it's a self-degradation. There is no way to move back. And let's say if we do that, then to get back the forest, it will be 1,000 to 2,000 years.
So it feels to me like someone jumping from an airplane. You get to the door there, you look down, and then you jump, and the moment you jump, there's no way of getting back on that plane. You're only going down.
Absolutely. This self-degradation, all tipping points are like that. For instance, when the ice sheets in Greenland, as soon as you start melting, then the temperature of the top of the ice sheet increases because you are going down. Immediately, you accelerate the tipping point. For instance, 120,000 years ago, in the last interglacial period, we were at 1.5 degrees warming for thousands of years. So most of the Greenland ice sheet had been melted, sea level was 6 meters higher. So again, all tipping points, once you reach, there is no way to avoid.
So this is a really interesting fact that you're bringing here, that the temperature has been warmer and the sea level has been higher. So there's people that say, so why do we care? We've been there before and the planet's here. What's different now than when that was happening back in the day?
Well, 130,000 years ago, the last interglacial, there were not more than 30,000 humans, all living in equatorial Africa. Tropical forests lived very well. If you live in a forest, even under this temperature 1.5, that's completely safe. So we cannot really make a comparison.
Oh, so the difference is that at that point there was basically a village in the whole planet, and now we have 8 billion, more than 8 billion people on the planet. And so if we get to these tipping points, what does this mean for people on planet Earth?
Well, we have a tremendous risk, all tipping points, but particularly what science is showing is that we, Homo sapiens, and before Homo erectus, we Homo sapiens, 200,000, 250,000 years. Homo erectus, 2-3 million years. never the temperature was above what you're seeing now, 1.5 degrees. If we lose a lot of, reach a lot of tipping points, I will say only two, the Amazon and the permafrost, Siberia, northern Canada, North Alaska. If we reach those two tipping points, by 2100, we are going to release more than 600 billion tons of carbon dioxide and methane. The permafrost has a lot of methane. Methane is 28 to 30 times more powerful to capture the greenhouse warming. So if that happens, we reach by 2100, 3-4 degrees warming. 3-4 degrees warming will turn here, Belém, all equatorial areas under sea level inhabitable. Inhabitable is because it will be a temperature humidity that we are humans unable to lose heat. We lose 75% of heat of our body through transpiration. And also when the air is warmer than our body temperature, is more than 35 degrees, we cannot emit radiation. So only way is transpiration. But when the temperature is much higher than 35 degrees and the air is very humid, unable to lose heat, to transpire. So babies, elderly people survive only half an hour, 1 hour. Healthy grown-ups, 2-3 hours. So studies show if we reach that by 2100, all tropical areas, equatorial areas, sea level, inhabitable, but also mid-latitudes, inhabitable during summer. 90, 100, subtropical areas, 150 days. So we are going really to put the planet in a situation. And also there is another tipping point, which is terrible. There is so much methane deep in the oceans, for a lot in the Arctic Ocean. If we warm the Arctic Ocean 3 degrees, we will release a tremendous amount of methane. By 2150, the temperature will be 8 to 10 degrees warmer, and then practically all planet inhabitable except the top of the mountains and these Alps, Himalaya, and North Pole, South Pole. And then, even now, even much before that, if we start losing coral reefs, we start the sixth species extinction, the first one caused by a human. And if we go beyond 3-4 degrees, we are going to lose most species in the planet.
So what I'm hearing is that if we start getting to the tipping points, the Amazon jumps off the plane, the coral reefs jump off the plane, but they bring everyone with them out of the plane. And we basically go back to that 20 to 30,000 people capacity living the top of the mountains. Maybe that's why the billionaires are all building bunkers to sustain themselves when this happens. But enough with the worries. I'm scared after this masterclass in climate science that we're getting from you. In your statement, you tell negotiators here that there's something they can do to avoid us getting to these horrifying scenarios. What are the things that negotiators at COP30 can do? What does the statement tell them to do in the next 4.5 days of negotiations that are left?
Absolutely. We have 4.5 days of negotiation. The Planetary Science Pavilion brings not only the risks, we talk a lot about risks here, but nature-based solutions. Absolutely possible. We can make a very rapid transition, energy transition, reducing a lot very rapidly fossil fuel emissions and sustainable renewable energy, very easy, economically as well, solar, wind energy, much cheaper, no pollution. For instance, solar energy hires 4 times more people to do it, improves tremendously socially, economically, and also absolutely possible, necessary, zero deforestation. And as you know, fortunately, this COP launched the Tropical Forest Forever Facility to get $125 billion to investment fund, but then for the first time ever, to pay for ecosystem service, all ecosystem service of tropical forests, not only storing carbon, but also the biodiversity, recycling very well water. The Amazon is so efficient in recycling water, 50% of the rainfall south of the Amazon, tropical savanna, in Portuguese, cerrado, depends on this water recycling. So absolutely essential to move in that direction. And we can do it. Science and technology are showing all the results. Economically makes a lot of sense. Also, for instance, getting to zero fossil fuel emissions very soon will reduce air pollution. The main reason of urban air pollution is fossil fuels. Coal, oil, diesel, and that leads to 7 million deaths a year, reduce life expectancy of those people in urban polluted air to 2 to 4 years. So also reducing rapidly fossil fuels will also improve the health of billions of people.
So the message to the negotiators here in the document is to come up and negotiate these roadmaps to transition away from fossil fuels and to end all deforestation, not just illegal. And I think I hear from you that there are a lot of benefits, right, from doing these things, both economic or social or environmental. I guess sustaining life in the planet seems to be a good one, both like, right, all the animal and vegetable and human life. But so you have a statement, you write it down. How was your day? Tell me what happens. How did this statement then goes from being something that you write to being something that might have some influence in the outcomes of COP?
Well, fortunately, as soon as we finished this statement, we had an opportunity not only to communicate to a large number of journalists, but we were able to go to the Amazonas plenary where the negotiators are there negotiating. And then we had a very good opportunity to hand deliver this statement to the Vice President of Brazil, Alckmin, also to the Minister of Environment, Climate Change in Brazil, Marina Silva. And also we had a very good opportunity to hand deliver, but also to discuss this declaration with COP30 President, Ambassador André Corrêa do Lago, and he really thanked us a lot. As I said, he was the one who asked us to create the Planetary Science Pavilion, and I'm pretty sure this will be very important for the negotiators. We are giving the information, and also science, as I mentioned, knows how to find nature-based solutions, also carbon dioxide removal. Let's say the science says from now to 2040, maximum 2050, we have to restore 5-6 million square kilometers, all biomes on the planet, tropical forests, but all biomes. And that would remove 6-7 billion tons of carbon dioxide per year beyond 2100. Absolutely essential not to let the temperature exceed 1.7. Now, science knows there is no way to become below 1.5. We are going to overshoot, but please, not more than 1.7, but now, with this tremendous removal by the forest, all ecosystem restoration, we are going to really get to below 1.5 by 2100.
Perfect. And your statement ends saying that, right, this weekend, people here in Belém also called out and supported the calls from science to phase out fossil fuels and end deforestation. Why is it so important that civil society works hand in hand with scientists to bring their voice and be here at COP? What difference does that make?
Well, it's very important is that the fact that first, I mean, President Lula was the one who created COP30, invited UN to approve And there was a very good decision by President Lula to have this COP. A lot of people thought the COP would be in the big cities in Brazil, São Paulo, Rio, Brasilia. But President Lula said, no, I want the COP30 to be in Belém. This is a very important area of the tropical forest, the Amazon. And we've seen here several days here in Belém, the indigenous people, local communities, Afro-descendant, riverine communities coming close to here and protesting, asking for us to save our tropical forests. Yesterday, tens of thousands of people in Belém also gave a manifest saying, let's save all tropical forests, but also they said correctly, let's reduce immediately fossil fuel emissions. So I think it's very important because this is the first time in 30 COPs, climate COPs, that we bring indigenous people, local communities, usually in the biodiversity COPs, these communities come. But this is the first time. And of course, science knows very well. To protect all biodiversity, we need to avoid the global warming to go much above 1.5. But also, protecting biodiversity, you save the forests. As I said, if we don't protect biodiversity, we are going to lose the Amazon and many other tropical ecosystems, and then we are going to release hundreds and hundreds of billions of tons, but also losing the tropical forest biodiversity, we are going to have a large number of epidemics and pandemics. Science shows degrading all tropical forests, we are going to have 1 to 2 pandemics per decade. For the first time in 500 years, last year, 2024, we had the first 2 epidemics in the Amazon, Mayaro fever, Oropush fever. And the science has seen 48 zoonoses, viruses that can become epidemics and pandemics in the Amazon. Therefore, the protests of these communities, they're absolutely right, and I hope negotiators will pay attention to that as well.
I hope negotiators will pay attention to the statement that you issued, to the voice of the people inside COP, outside COP. I think the call is clear. We need a roadmap to phase out fossil fuels. We need a roadmap to end deforestation. If we want to protect life, and I think that's something that's really worth fighting for. If people want to read the statement, you can find it at the Planetary Science Pavilion website. It's www.planetarsciencepavilion.com. It is available for everyone to see, support online, promote it, tag your heads of delegation, your countries, make sure that the voice of science is supported by civil society and really lead to impact here at COP. Thank you, Professor Carlos. It was an honor to have this incredible planetary science lesson with you, and I think we're here. Any final words?
Well, I just want to say, João, I've been saying that in some interviews. We scientists all over in the world, we know we are at the edge of ecocide, ecological suicide for the planet. Therefore, all COPs have to be very important. But let's say Paris Agreement, COP26, well, 196 countries made commitments to their NDCs. But now, reaching 1.5 degrees right now, we need to accelerate reducing emissions. And now also we are launching a study that we carried out showing Brazil easily can get to net zero emissions by 2040, not 2050, and also to have 1 million square kilometer forest restoration of all Brazilian biomes. But we can do that all over the world. Please, let's make COP30 the most important of all COPs.
All right, thank you. And with that call to action, we leave you for today here. We don't have time. Thank you, everyone watching around the world. And thank you for all the scientists and activists and everyone fighting for a fair future here in Belém.
Well, we're coming to the end of today's broadcast. I'm really happy that Carlos Nobre, the Brazilian scientist, was the last guest here. We need to have a reality check every single day on this. We speak to many very interesting people. There's a lot of action. There's a lot of people doing some good stuff. There's all kinds of possibilities to steer this world to actually a safer place. But the fact is, our governments in particular are mainly not doing it. And yet, as Carlos Nobre said, his own country, Brazil, could easily be net zero in the next, 20 years. It's all possible. It can be done before 2050. So let's hear more voices like that on the reality check. What we're risking if we don't do it. The drying out of the Amazon is no joke, right? And that's really the end of the world as we know it. So let's really pull our socks up and really make this happen as a global community. Let's hope COP30 can deliver on that bright new start that we need since Paris 2015. So here we go. That was the end of COP30 Climate Hub today. We will be back tomorrow, of course, with another packed day of climate broadcasting. We hope you're going to tune in. We'll be starting at the same time. Check out our website, wedon'thavetime.org. And yeah, best of luck. Bye.